WRP extra credit. Ito po. So, hello po. I'll be talking about the things that I'm passionate about or the things that make me happy. So, the things that make me happy is actually films or any form of entertainment where I'm the audience. I do like playing video games man, but however, I prefer, let's say, watching over playing or even reading because I want to be, let's say, watching something that's very interesting to me to the point that I want to listen and just watch it naman po. In terms of, let's say, which one would I pick, would be series or movies, I actually would prefer movies. Now, do I like watching in Netflix? Yes naman po. But do I prefer it over, let's say, a cinema? Not really. I kind of prefer the ones in the cinema. Yung tao dito, yung feeling kasi sa place na yon, it feels very, let's say, exclusive. Yung talagang, let's say, na-feel mo that you need to watch this talaga. Pag Netflix kasi, I can easily post it if I don't like the scene nga and just skip the whole movie, which I always do nga when I'm watching Netflix eh. So, in movies, I kind of prefer, let's say, movies that have a lot of fiction on them. Alam ko may mga, let's say, based on true stories or yung mga movies na parang documentary, but to me they're just really boring. In most cases they're really depressing because to me lang, I know that escaping in reality or escaping reality like escapism is not technically that good, but to me, as long as you are controlling yourself, it's relatively good for your mental health eh. And to me, escaping reality by watching films is a good thing, is a good kind of escapism to do nga eh, to prioritize my mental health. Now, I do love movies talaga, regardless on what genre. Though I prefer fictional ones. And I don't mean, let's say, yung talagang fictional, ay, parang may aliens, ganun. No, I mean, the story itself is fictional. Hindi ko bet yung, let's say, yung movies na may parang based on real life events or movies that are, let's say, portraying real life people in the past, ganun. Naalala ko pa yung Quezon na movie. Actually, maganda yung Quezon. However, because the person who's they're portraying is a real life person in the past, naging controversial. Also, parang nagkaroon na parang fake news. Like, ano yung katotohanan dun? Based sa sabi ng mga historians. And I kind of don't like it because it makes me overthink talaga. So, I prefer films that are based on, let's say, talagang fictional stories that are very interesting and sometimes even, let's say, not that realistic. Pero maganda pa rin. Now, palagay ko, or in my opinion, the main reason why I prefer films over, let's say, any other forms of entertainment is because mas prefer ko na audience lang ako, as in. I prefer naka-relax, hindi naka-stress. Because I used to play a lot of video games, especially Call of Duty. Call of Duty is still, and still is, my favorite game, mobile game to play in. However, nakaka-stressful din minsan to watch. Now, back when I was high school, medyo mas prefer ko yung games kaysa films. But right now in college, where every day is like, a very stressful, let's say, always using as much effort as much as possible, I kind of prefer films na. I want to, let's say, be entertained but without the effort of, let's say, trying to do something. In my opinion lang, okay? Like, I still play Call of Duty, but not as much naman talaga. It's just nakaka-stressful na. Especially kapag may nagmumura pa sa'yo sa mga games na yun eh. Kung let's say online. Sa films naman, alam mo naman kasi yung feeling pag nasa cinema ka, di ba? Nakaupo ka, malamig, pero masarap sa feeling yung lamig. In my opinion lang. Tapos yung pagkain, though mahal yung pagkain sa cinema, so most of the time, yung ginagawa ko is nagbibili ako parang kettle corn and tinadala ko na lang sa cinema dahil mas mura yung kettle corn at saka masarap yun. At saka I do love popcorn, but I prefer eating popcorn in the cinema dahil kapag, let's say, casually eating popcorn na outside cinema, nakakawalang gana talaga. Any films? Do I love any films? Yes, as long as hindi siya, let's say, based on true stories to the point that you disrespect the history talaga. Unless kung nakaka-interesting. I did watch The Conjuring Last Rites. It was actually a good film eh. It is based on technically a true story, but it's a kind of, but they did the movie in a way where it's nakaka-interesting naman eh. Mas prefer ko yung ganun kaysa yung ganun. Yung Quezon, maganda siya actually, nakaka-interesting. But, it did make me overthink naman kung totoo ba yung, let's say, yung events na sinasabi ng movie or fake news. Because there was another film naman regarding kay Manuel Quezon. That he, let's say, was a pioneer on, let's say, trying to get the Jewish people back, trying to get Jewish people to immigrate in the Philippines back in World War II. Pero at the same time, so, that film, hindi ko alam yung tawag dito, yung title ng movie, I think it's Manuel Quezon din, yung pangalan. So that movie was like praising Quezon being a selfless president, and then we have a new movie about Quezon, but this time parang a corrupt, womanizing mongler ganon. So let's say, nakaka-interesting pa rin yung films in terms of their plots, but at the same time, na-feel mo na parang may fake news in both. One movie like is trying to praise Quezon, and the other is like trying to, let's say, judge Quezon. Those are the type of movies where I don't always agree upon. Anyways, but that's just my opinion, and that's my the explanation on the things that gave me some passion and give me some happiness po. Thank you po.